Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Shanghai Dota 2 Open Season 2. We're going to be taking a look at a wonderful match here. It is the penultimate matchup, the best of three series in our lower bracket. LGD.Forever Young facing off against ehome. The winner of this series is going to move on to face off against CDEC Gaming. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by PqMz. Sir, we're sorry, a little bit late to the draft, but never feared. Dota 2 is going to be here. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm hyped for this game as well, because this should be really, really good Dota.
Absolutely. I think that both of us, enjoying what we saw out of these two teams previously today. They did have to take a little bit of a break, but now they're back in it. We're going to be watching them play this game of Dota 2. And the Drow Ranger taken as the first pick overall since the OD. The OD was still in it, but they didn't want to mess with it. So Sand King Dazzle is the response, followed up by the Ricky. Darkseer, Timbersaw, and Earth Spirit all taken now as well. Anything really stand out to you about these drafts as far as things you're worried about for a particular team, or you think it's all pretty cookie cutter so far?
10 seconds remaining.
The only thing I kind of questioned initially was the Dazzle, but the only logic I could see behind it was they want to like tank up and elongate the fight so they can get multiple Sand King stuns. Kind of works the same thing with Timber. Just lets lineup get multiple barrages of spells off. I also really like the fact they get Sand King against Drow because it's a hero that can pressure the lane a lot. So if they emphasize putting pressure there, they can really punish the Drow. And it looks like ehome are probably going to want to move the Ricky top with the Darkseer because that's a very, very strong dual lane. So they could have a really weak safe lane.
Well, and I guess that is really the question now. Maybe they are going to try. I guess the question that I've got then is if you're a little bit worried about that, the Storm Spirit pick taken now as well. He can be kind of aggressive in the laning stage, but he can also get roamed upon, depending upon, particularly the Earth Spirit there. Do you think that ehome are stretching themselves a little bit too thin?
I don't really think so at the moment. I like the Storm because I feel like once the game gets to a certain point now, LGD just can't deal with that hero at all.
5 seconds remaining.
And the inevitability the hero gives you is just insane. And I think Ricky Darks, they should be able to show up the early game enough that if they just get another support that offers some kind of saving potential, Shadow Demon, Venge, they should be fine.
Okay. Well, Coolio. Witch Doctor was the one that was banned out for LGD.Forever Young, and one final ban will be coming up shortly. Yeah, I really do like, I think I like so far the LGD.Forever Young's draft. It's very emblematic of the two style of Dota that I think these teams, I don't think either of them is really stuck in their way, but it's like the Drow Ranger with one big, melee initiator in the offlane position, and then just a lot of damage with mobile supports and such for ehome. And then on the side of LGD.Forever Young, it's like the tanky Sand King, this an axe could have fit really well into the place as opposed to the Timbersaw or something like that. Those heroes that are constantly about fighting. And I kind of like that style a little bit more than the Drow Ranger.
10 seconds remaining.
I do feel it's a bit more risky though, because if the fights don't go well, then you don't have tower push on the lineup currently, you don't have Roche potential, and your late game is currently all in on one hero. So I feel like this last pick has to do a lot for them. I could see maybe Lifestealer working out, because it's a very high tempo hero. Yeah, Huskar's risky, because I suppose it would actually be really, really good. Actually, it's not risky at all. I completely forgot they had Dazzle.
Oh, that's the only reason I was thinking about it, but I don't know if LGD.Forever Young want to take it.
I mean, maybe they're not dirty Huskar pickers and they're respectable Dota players, so they pick Nakes instead. No offense to any Huskar pickers. Okay,
I mean, it's not me. I play support solely. I don't do any of that other stuff. I want to be able to have plausible deniability and reason to flame my teammates if something goes wrong. Clearly, it was somebody else's fault.
You went the same line as I did then.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I was very often in the captain's seat where I didn't ban Huskar and lost to it, and I tried to have to blame my teammates on that one.
Yeah, it's a rough life.
Huskar could be really good here though, but I think what they need is something that can up the tempo early and provide a way of ending the game.
Anti-mage.
Because right now, backing off for AM, it's I feel like playing into ehome's hands slightly. Sure, anti-mage is really, really good against Storm when he burns half his mana pool to jump in, and you can play from a lead, which I imagine the laning stage can get them a lead, especially if the Earth Spirit does a good job early. But I just hate AM into Jowl because it's naturally two different timings, where Jowl just peaks earlier and kind of, if that peak works and your timing just doesn't quite fit.
I
But
will.
people have started like delaying the Vlads and going early Manta, so you get it around 20 minutes. It shuts the timing by about 5 minutes, which can be very, very important.
Yeah, I will say that I have a good amount of faith in Monet. Looks like I might need to
Prepare for
restart
battle.
Dota. No, we're doing okay. It's looking okay after that initial lag spike. After seeing Monet's lifestealer the other game, I'm kind of willing to just let them put him have the team on his back, because he played a really fabulous series, and I don't know. I think that that's one of those things where you kind of just say to him, what do you want to play? Do you want to go for the anti-mage, or do you want to try and go back for the other one? And the downside that I think LGD.Forever Young would have if they did go for that Huskar pick is it kind of limits them as far as the timing, like you were saying, that they have to be there like really they have to come in under the gun as opposed to being able to survive through the initial barrage, if you know what I'm saying there. So
30 seconds
maybe
to
the
battle.
anti-mage allows them to go later game against the Draw Ranger in a way that a Huskar wouldn't.
Yeah, I can definitely see that line of thought, and that's probably what they were thinking. But I think if you're playing high level Dota, you want to maximize when you're strong and not ever split that up. Like ehome, they kind of can play at all stages of the game from minute 1 to minute
The
120.
battle begins.
LFY, I feel like they had this lineup that wants to peak really early, where Timbersaw just becomes this unkillable mess. Sand King has lots of initiation potential. They've got prolonged team fight through having the Dazzle and then some control through the Earth Spirit, and they just needed something that can like take Roshan and end the game. Now what they've done is they're backed off and said, well, okay, I don't think we can do that, so it's naturally like they're not confident in their draft. And ehome are, as I said earlier, quite comfortable against anti-mage, I feel like. I don't even think it counters Storm at all, because most of the time you're getting the jump on anti-mage. And you're also going to have a lot more map control inherently because you have a hero called Drow in your lineup that pushes towers. Anti-mage is only really going to get towers when people leave him alone for 5 minutes, which this game, I don't think he's going to get left alone too much, especially with Ricky. Ricky is one of the best supports in the game at dealing with anti-mage, because you get the vision aspect, and most heroes can't deal with the smoke bomb when they're done by Force Staff, and anti-mage is definitely not a Force Staff player. If he is, then I'll eat a shoe.
They don't want you to eat a shoe, so hopefully he doesn't end up getting a force staff. But I guess the
His
other heroes on
teammates
this
will.
team could go for it. Yeah, that's probably going to be the route that they take. It looks like we start having a little bit of lagging issues, so I took off the stream for a moment, but yeah, it's still a little bit choppy. We haven't tended to have these issues so far, but apparently something is going on.
Curse to the stream. Feels bad, man.
That's fine. They'll be fine. Dota 2 is going to get played at the end of the day. Lanham taking a couple of pot shots. We'll be able to get the Burrow Strike forward. Wanted to find that, and now Lanham in some trouble. It's going to get rolling bouldered pawn. Right clicks are there, and salving up, but there's the kill. First blood going into the favor of LPC. I'm going to try one more reconnect, see if this ends up working. Sorry about this, guys. Would you care to give us some radio Dota?
Well, that's exactly what LFY won this dual lane. If Sun King's not pressuring getting things done early, I don't think the hero kind of warrants a spot, but if he can, he's so strong at doing it. And it kind of makes up for the fact that they're drastically losing CS in every lane. So far, the Storm's doubling up the Timber, anti-mage is behind the Drow, who just, has the Sand King pressuring her constantly. Which isn't ideal at all. You're normally quite comfortable having AM against Darks here, but you throw Ricky into the mix and suddenly it becomes a lot harder to guarantee last hits, and you have to worry about your support maybe getting killed.
This is not the
Not a
easiest
fun
one
time.
in the world. A very frustrating lane indeed. And you talked about it, the ability to make those types of rotations. Guardian, though, is going to actually rotate towards the bottom lane instead and see if they can find a kill onto Sand King. Yao is going to realize that this is happening, though. They have the Sentry Ward down, and with the Burrow Strike, they might even be able to take down the Ricky. A lot of damage being thrown back his way. The Cloud is going to be there, but with the Zhao 8 rotation, they find the kill, and now land him? Nah, they're not going to be able to go for him. Nice Gust.
That was so weird. I feel like Psylocke just decided to not Gust and let his teammate die. But that's, again, really good for LFY, and I really like the fact they moved his Dazzle down. Like, look at this, it's so insane.
Boa just going straight for it. Bully and Sylar in lane. I really wish that I could actually see what was happening in this Dota 2 game. Lanham dropping lower. LPC needs to switch over aggro, and that is going to be enough to find the kill. Man, LGD Forever Young just diving.
Yeah, this is exactly what they want to be doing with these heroes. And it's very rarely that you see teams actually rotate so heavily with their supports, and it pays dividends here. Because Anti-Mage is going to get the same amount top if Dazzle's there or not. If anything, it could be worse, because then you've got to worry about what your support's doing. Is he pulling? Is he messing with your lane equilibrium? Or are you having to stop the Ricky from killing him? Now you can just concentrate on CS, and the girl's having a much harder time than she would like.
Not this time.
Oh, man. Well, I had talked earlier on about the lack of lag that we were having. It looks like I'm sort of going to be paying for that one now, as we'll be struggling through this game. Okay, so...
Would you hate me if I said it's completely fine on my end?
Sorry, what was that? Oh, yeah.
Would you hate me if it's completely fine on my end?
Oh, it's fine. It's just one of those things where, depending upon your access point, you
it's
just kind of get owned over by it, so... So it goes. It's fine and dandy.
Twitch chat can baby rage.
That's fine.
That's all they want to do anyway, right?
No, we're good. They're happy clams. We're good. Super in mid lane against the old chicken Storm Spirit. Gonna be struggling a little bit. They do throw out one of the chakrams, and I guess a little bit of a zip happened, and they weren't able to do a ton of damage to him. Meanwhile, over in the jungle, they're going to try and chase down Guardian, and that's going to be another kill. 5-0 start so far for LGD Forever Young.
I mean, if you had a checklist of what you wanted to do in the first 5 minutes of the game, I'd say they've fulfilled it pretty comfortably. And you know, the checklist would only say shit on Drow, but they're doing it pretty well.
The thing I'm looking at as well from this is if that was a Huskar up there as opposed to an AM, I do feel like they would be able to just start taking down these towers so rapidly. But as it stands, they're still getting a good amount of net worth on this AM, and he's been left kind of to his own devices. What do you think about this carry here? Is he going to be able to make things happen once we sort of get into the mid game?
I think any hero, given this amount of space, will be able to make things happen. So I'm really not too concerned with how they've started it. You know, when I'm critiquing drafts, it's very over-analytical in a lot of circumstances. You know, the anti-mage is by no means a bad pick. It's just when you have something in your mind and you kind of stick with it, things other than that don't generally look as good. Does that make sense?
No, I'm with you. Absolutely. Oh, bottom lane, yeah, I was just going to walk away from him there. Yeah, it's true. And it'll probably end up working fine.
Yeah, I mean, with this kind of start, it's going to be so hard for the Drow to actually do what she wants, which is group up with her team after a good laning stage and push towers. Because now she's going to be too busy trying to recover. She's moving around the map saying to my team, like, I need somewhere to farm. So the Storm's getting kicked out of mid lane so he can go jungle. And then Drow's going to have to deal with this Timbersaw that can just literally tank the tower and right-click her. And she's going to have to TP out or have someone come in to deal with it, because Timbersaw don't give no shits. It's a real problem. Because if they don't get the towers and they don't get the early farm on Storm, his Bloodstone's going to be 16, 17 minutes, if not later, because of the amount of pressure LFY can actually put on. You know, Earth Spirit's still very, very good at killing Storm. Timber provides all the damage that the rest of the team lacks. Then they don't die because they have a Dazzle. Providing, you know, he graves the right hero.
absolutely. Well, I mean, if you're not graving the hero that's about to die, you're probably, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with you at that point, but we'll
He
see
might
if
be
we
a
can do
nappy
it.
player.
Anti-Mage does manage to take down that Dark Seer, so a little bit of help from his buddy, Mr. Zhao 8. They do find that kill, and this lag is just atrocious. So really apologize, everybody, that it's sort of at a certain point where you can't do anything about it once the reconnects don't work. So very frustrating, but we will make do. We'll try and give you the best cast we possibly can, and we're just going to have to keep on keeping on.
Middle tower
Don't even
It's
worry.
like a lucky dip, you know? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's really annoying for like the Western scene though. That this is such a occurring thing in Chinese games. Because you can't enjoy watching it when it's laggy like hell.
I mean, you can enjoy it
Just
for the
don't.
other
Radiant's
parts.
top
Like, you
tower
can
is
enjoy it
under
for seeing the
attack.
Timbersaw Chakram, like, fly across the map and never come back again. But
That gets old after like a minute though.
Yeah, it's a different
At least
style.
in my opinion.
Definitely.
I'm sure other people don't mind it as much.
Well, meanwhile, the smoke rotation, they are going to run into Sylar here. Can they find that kill? The Burrow Strike goes through, a quick bit of damage, and dropping low is going to end up being able to find that. So, nicely played by the Timbersaw Super with a spinning blade all around
Radiant's
him.
middle tower is under attack.
This is just so well done by them. And I feel like ehome haven't really used their Ricky to stop any of this happening.
Radiant's
As much as
middle
I've been
tower is
praising
under attack.
LFY, it feels like Guardian just needs to be in better places to stop this aggression. Like if they're running through your woods with a smoke gang
Radiant structures
to find
are
your Drow
fortified.
that's farming these two camps, you kind of want your Ricky tanking that gang or giving you the information that they're coming so you can counterplay it. Instead he's kind of just, you know, died twice and hasn't really accomplished anything.
Well, I think part of the reason for it, too, also, is that just the fact that he did die twice is he got a Burrow Strike kill onto
Radiant's
Rubik,
middle
and
tower
that
has fallen.
thrown out. Like, he's feeling, I think, very under the gun, and the game is just really hard. I feel like the draft from LFY is just much, much better than the ehome ones now, and I mean, you can see the different.
Play, honestly. Like, you can say the Sand King and Earth Spirit are really strong dual lane, but Darkseer Ricky is the same thing. They're just actually playing so much better, it's insane.
Well, 11.
Like, ehome have had answers, they're just not using them. And that sounds really harsh, but I don't want to, like, account it to you saying their draft is just better at this point when ehome have plays to make. And unfortunately, the play they try and make doesn't quite work.
Monet very close to going down, but with the salve coming out, they're not going to be able to make that one work. And Old Chicken getting jumped upon. Super is going to be able to track him down, though, and now the Burrow Strike. Old Chicken is in trouble. The lift and trying to create that little bit of separation, but they were never going to be able to get away from there. The Chakram comes out from Super. They find the kill. 9-0, and just a dominant performance.
Is this when we start taking bets on how many kills it takes before ehome gets one on the board?
I mean,
Do you want to do over or under?
we could do that if you want to. I don't know. I think it's going to be a little while, but Sylar is going to take a good bit of damage and drop down the mid lane. It is a very hard game right here for ehome, and it's difficult to tell if it's just like, for me, like, at this point, they've been knocked down pretty hard, and they just don't feel like they're responding that well, or even going to be capable of taking a fight that easily. I mean, Monet, he's just getting whatever he wants.
Yeah, and this gank I don't think's working out.
Burrow
maybe it
Strike
does,
used.
actually.
They
It
also
felt
have
like
the
he was
lift.
backing off.
Well, Fade Bolt as well comes out, and they do find that kill.
Def 1. I was going to over or under like 15, so I'm glad we didn't do that. I would have looked stupid in front of Twitch chat.
That's fine.
Happens to everyone, right? Yeah, that's definitely step 1. Now that the Rubik's got level 6, he's got a lot of good spells to steal, so if he can play in conjunction with Ricky and Darkseer and start punishing LFY for splitting up, that it might buy them some space. Because then LFY will naturally gravitate to their own side of the map instead of the Radiant side.
They do have LP.
That being said, Drog just dies to like a solo Sand King, so there's problems still.
Yeah, and Yaugin's just been able to sort of do whatever he wants this game on this Sand King, and this is sort of reminiscent of what we saw the other day, where it was KP just hiding off in the jungle, and I mean, he was playing it on the Faceless Void, but here you can see the channeling of the epicenter, the jump forward burrow strike, and this should be a quick and easy. Well, not going to be able to get the kill. They interrupted it.
Radiant's top tower
No,
is
he
under
blinked
attack.
too early. That was on him.
Lordy, lordy. Well,
I have
unfortunate.
done that so many times. It's like, oh, it's so cringy to watch. I feel bad for him, but they're still winning, so he doesn't need that kill. That's a warning shot. You live this time.
Absolutely. And now they gonna go for a secondary warning shot as old 11 is gonna start to drop. They find that kill as well. Super, a good bit of his way towards the Bloodstone charges.
Radiant's top tower is
LGD
under
forever
attack.
young.
Radiant structures
Making
are
it happen.
fortified.
He's on like pace for a 16-minute Bloodstone on top of a hood. That's completely insane farm-wise. He is very, very likely going to be able to sit at like tier 3 towers
Radiant's
and not
top
die.
tower is under attack.
Sounds a bit excessive, but that's how tanky the hero
Dyer's middle
gets when he's got
tower
4
is under
reactive
attack.
armor and a hood at this stage of the game. You just don't have the damage to
Dyer's
chew through him.
structures are fortified.
In mid lane, they're trying to take the tier 1 tower. The Dazzle and Yao aggressively running at Sylar. The silence only hit onto Zhao 8, so Yao's still there, and this should be a kill. They come through, are going to be able to find it. Old 11 just desperately trying to make some type of escape. Silence is leveled out now from the Riki, so it might be able to keep them back for the moment. Super still jumps through Timber Chain, a lot of damage. Yao catches onto Old 11. Storm Spirit did kill off the Dazzle on the back line, and it looks like Super may have overstepped his bounds a little bit. He's getting slightly punished, but still so tanky. Turns around and throws out another one of his combos forward, and maybe gonna just kill everybody? How is Super doing this? This hero is absurd right now. Oh, Lord, that was way too much. Oh, no.
Reactive armor is a good spell. Early game goes slightly differently. Drow has like a second Wraith Band. They kill him though. But Dota is unfortunately a game of very minute things, and they all just collaborate together to make that even more in LFY's favor and puts ehome further behind. It just feels like they don't really understand what they need to do. They're kind of reeling from every bad fight. Because when Drow's pushing mid lane on her own without a tier 1 tower, no one next to her to back her up, she's just going to get chased down by any initiation. It feels really weird that they would even make that play. If Storm's doing it, he can feasibly like zip TP, but Drow, she doesn't have an escape mechanism. And again, they're like sending her up top on their own, while the supports are like on the other side of the map.
Well, the Smoke Gank is going to come out as looks like ehome are hoping to find something themselves, but the side of LFY is over
Radiant's
here.
bottom tower
They
is
are going to
under
get some
attack.
deep wards in, pressure the tier 2 tower. At least for the moment, Monet is going to be
Dyer's top
stuffed left to his
tower
own
is under
devices,
attack.
and TP's
He
mid, but
knows.
they can't find that. So yeah, they're just going to keep on trading out farm around the
Radiant's
map.
bottom tower
I
is
don't
under
think
attack.
that we see ehome find a kill onto Monet, and yeah, they got the Dazzle in the area too, so
Dyer's top
there's no
tower is
real way
under
that they can
attack.
make that happen.
Rip Dazzle maybe?
A lift
Radiant's
back
bottom
pull,
tower
and
is under
they're going to
attack.
be able to throw out the cloud. Zhao 8 dropping low, and he is going to go down. But by the same token, they might have bit off more than they could chew. Old 11 is going to get caught now, the epicenter down, and that's a very
Radiant's
dead
bottom
Darkseer.
tower is
So
under attack.
they trade the Darkseer for the Dazzle, ostensibly. And 3-15 is the score.
It's not even just that, it's for tier 2 tower bottom as well, and all these items are about to come out.
Dyer's top tower
Nearly
is
got the
under
Vlads
attack.
on AM, there's the 4 stuff coming out for the Sand King, so he's like hyper mobile at this point.
Dyer's structures
The chances
are
of ehome
fortified.
getting kills for Smoke Cloud has just been
Dyer's
drastically
middle tower is
reduced.
under attack.
It's just grim, there's no other word for it. The way back into this game is a very, very long road of misplays.
See if they can make it happen. Sylar is up here farming ancients, trying to get what he can at least, and Dragonlance is completed, so slightly more tanky. If they
Radiant's
could
middle tower
get a
is under
decent
attack.
gust, there's a chance they could. It's just
level
really hard to
one,
go
though.
on to super right from the start. They're going to steal the Whirling Death.
I don't think Rubik wants to get close enough to use that spell.
Yeah, probably not. You do have Sylar here. They actually could go for a silence onto Zhao 8 as they go onto Super, and maybe in that way you can take a fight, but...
They just don't have the damage to do that, though. I think the Storm pushing top is the correct call. Issue is, he's not going to get anything out of it more than a few creeps. He doesn't have the luxury of having tower damage at this stage of the game. Even with Drow Aura, still hits like a ranged creep. At least with towers.
Well, they're left alone now. No AM is going to be here, so Chakram's stolen by the Rubik. There's a little bit more damage that comes out in that fashion. Super is still just not at all afraid. They throw out the Chakram, pull back the Timbersaw for the moment, jump in for Old Chicken. The counter initiation is there. Silence on the 3, and Super now starting to take a decent chunk of damage. LPC has already gone down, and they are going to be able to bring down that Earth Spirit. Can they find another? Oh, good Burrow Strike. And now the jump through the full combo, and they are going to be able to still do a lot with the Epi. That's a good counter initiation by Yao. They lose the Ricky and are going to be able to take down all 11. Now Sylar trying to pick up whatever scraps they can. They took down the Timber, but they ended up losing 3 for it.
I feel like that's not too bad for them. The tier 2 is dead regardless. They take some Bloodstone charges away, and the 2 cores that matter don't die. I feel like that's about as good a trade as you could ask for. Would have been even worse if the Sand King didn't completely whiff his initiation.
I do sort of wonder now, like, well, it just feels to me like for LGD.Forever Young, take the tier 2 tower mid, or possibly just instead go back and try and finish off Roshan. As it stands, Yao is probably going to lose his life here. It's at least coming close to it. Low on mana, not going to be able to do it the blink away. So they do escape from there, but it seems like that might have been a just overextension for LGD.Forever Young.
Yeah, unfortunately, the punish wasn't there. As I said, he's just super mobile, and Storm doesn't have the mana to chase when he's jumping, even just from the tier 3. I think he jumped it from a bit further back, but still, his mana pool's not there yet. It's like 500 from Bloodstone, and you can accept around like 18-20 minute timing if your team's doing well in other lanes, but in this case, it's just still going to need another item after that. And getting to that other item is going to be quite painful, because Anti-Mage is eventually getting a Manta and then 1 stun from Sand King and you're dead. Which means you need like constant protection.
They're moving in to try and take down Roshan at this point. It's beginning to feel more and more like a desperate cause. Guardian does have the movement over there, but I mean, he's not really capable of doing anything at this point. He's a smoke cloud, but they don't have the damage to throw into it, and Rubik might be able to find something, but oh my god, Sylar here is just going to get ran down by Yao. Yeah, they are... This is just LGD.Forever Young doing whatever they want.
Dominance asserted. The fact the Earth Spirit has a PqMz just kind of states how they want to play this game. I didn't even notice, but you know, ig.V.
It's good stuff. Well, it works. It's beautiful. Old Chicken now, Bloodstone up and online. I mean, it's got more Bloodstone charges than Super. It's not the worst thing in the world. So there's a chance that they can make a good bit of damage come through from that Storm Spirit. They just need to find the right targets.
I so wish I could be as optimistic as you are now.
You just gotta say things, and then eventually, you know, it's all good. Dota 2 can be played. It'll be fine.
Only one team's playing Dota here. One team's playing sitting in your face and hope to god the other team doesn't know what Dota 2 is. So now Manta's out. AM's kind of hit the biggest P-kill hit for maybe 10 minutes. Throw an Aegis on top of that, and it's just disaster for the Storm. He kind of almost needs a Linken's just so that the Sand King can't blow him up, but I feel like he needs a BKB at the same time so he can actually contribute to fights, because split pushing's not going to win this game. They're going to eventually need to be able to take a fight. But if you go BKB, you don't have the mana, and if you go either of those items, you don't have the damage. So you kind of need 2 of them. Ideally, like Orchid and PvP, so you can actually kill the Dazzle. That's probably the most important hero for this storm to jump on in the fights. And then let the other heroes soak up the Anti-Mage and Sand King initiation.
Well, I do like this play here from the Storm Spirit. He pushes out this bottom lane and is able to completely cut the creep wave, so they're at least not going to have the creeps knocking on their front door here. And you can see LGD.Forever Young, they're going to try and escort one creep go in their direction, but meanwhile Guardian finds the courier, so well played over there in the jungle, finding things.
Most useful thing he's done all game.
Yeah. I mean, something had to be.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's very lucky to get anything done at this stage where there's a gem on Yao. It just makes playing Ricky a nightmare. You can't get the deep lane vision that the hero thrives off placing, and he can't really go for any sneaky information because he's just going to feed away his life. So all he can kind of do is smoke cloud the heroes hitting towers or slowly chip away at creep waves. Because if LFY do hit your base, I don't think they're leaving anytime soon. Your D push is very minimal, so your best hope is have one hero go like this and cut the creep wave.
I'll jump forward, Burrow Strike connects onto Sylar, and they throw out the Chakram, a good bit of damage. The silence is there from Monet after the dust comes out, and looks like they're still taking a good bit of damage from this. They're going to be forced to back out. The Drum Ranger eras still do hurt. Like, that is definitely one side of ehome's lineup that they've got, is a good bit of physical damage if they manage to keep Monet stuck in one spot for any amount of time. So heading back up again, see if they can stop the fight. The Burrow Strike forward connects onto Sylar. Monet is caught in the clouds, so a little bit of damage. The vacuum is pulling everybody back in towards it, but I'm getting 1 slide per second. I don't think that it's actually going to end up being enough, as Monet is dropping low. Aegis is still in hand, so not going to be able to find really anything outside of a main kill. Lanham also silenced and falling. Sand King is already gone, so it does look like they've holed. I don't even know what's going on in there anymore. This is just some weird shenanigans. Another two-person silence. The Mana Void did not come out from Monet. He already used it. Sylar, that's going to get stunned as well, and now another Chakram goes back in, and Timbersaw killing off the Ricky. Monet lifted after he tried to go for the blink away, but they just don't have anything to really bring him down as of yet. They do jump forward. The old chicken, Storm Spirit, was able to find that kill. Gem on the ground, and that was after the Aegis is gone, so they kind of hold. They hold in a good way.
Oh no, they definitely hold. That's huge.
I don't know what the hell happened. I'm not going to lie. That was awful. That was the worst thing ever.
Okay, so to break it down, the biggest mistake was like when Anti-Mage went on the Drow, didn't finish him with Mana Void. Their backlines kind of got some problems, and they just could never lock anyone down. Like the few Sand King jumps didn't result in any important kills, and you're playing into their base at the 25-minute mark. It's still quite early to be diving like the tier 4 areas, so they didn't need to go for that. You know, if ehome initiate on you, you play on that, but you don't need to go into them. It's too risky, and that's going to be signs of life for them. It's by no means enough, but it's a step in the right direction.
I mean, you take a look at this right now.
That's 5k, 6k.
Yeah. For Storm Spirit, he's now only one component away from finishing off his Orchid. He's got 16 Bloodstone charges. You compare that to the Timbersaw, who's, you know, gone for what's going to be, I'm assuming, a Lotus Orb now for him. And he just probably was going to be somewhat limited in terms of his mana regeneration. So I kind of feel like after that, ehome are in a decent position to take another fight. Do you think it would be worth it for them to try and find that fight outside of their base, or do they just wait until they get into a position where they're holding high ground?
I don't think they're going to be in a position where they're holding high ground until next Aegis, so they definitely are going to have to be out on the map.
They just
I don't think Anti-Mage will feel comfortable pushing high ground without another Roshan when that's just happened.
Okay.
But they can get a nice free Rubik kill, and that's a gem. That's actually so huge. Like, giving that away is a huge misplay.
Oh, that hurts. And Ricky was just over in that area, so they probably would have known that they were all going. And now, suddenly, with two gone, it looks like LGD.Forever Young, despite the woes of the last high ground push, are going to be going for it again. Rubik does buy back, but Anti-Mage still not deterred. He's going to keep his eyes on him there. The lift back, and does not have anything outside of the blink stolen at the moment. Ranger Frost Arrows getting thrown out onto Monet. Trading hits, the Burrow Strike comes in again on the Sylar, but meanwhile, the Storm Spirit jumps onto Monet and is going to be in a little bit of trouble, but it looks like he was able to get Glimmer Cape back and out of there. The wall was not really the greatest as far as what we've been able to see from it. Silenced for the moment is Super, but it looks like he is going to be able to live through that initial burst. Super jumps onto Sylar on the backlines as well. The Burrow Strike and the Epicenter comes through on the other side, and I think that this whole time though, like, you look at how deep they were going on Super, the Timbersaw, he ends up dying from that, and now the rest of the side of LGD.Forever Young, they still only got the melee barracks. Monet is gonna jump out, and the Rubik is still chasing. Lanham gets Burrow Strike as he's trying to find the Anti-Mage. It looks like LPC is doing a good amount with the Magnetize. He is gonna counter initiate, but that's Monet jumping back in, and now you've lost 4. LGD.Forever Young throwing the game away like old trash. What?
6-4-4.
What?
Sorry, 6-6-4. Or whatever. You know, it's 3-2-2 doubled. They've tried to throw this game as much as they can.
Oh my god. I mean, it's awful to cast it through the lag, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's feeling like
they're just trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Like, every fight they're able to hit the buildings, ehome shows some kind of resistance, and then they just overreact to it every time, and it feels like they're just getting baited to take a fight that's not
oh my god,
favorable. If they'd have like 2 heroes and take the melee racks, it would have been okay, but for some silly reason there was a call made that Anti-Mage goes back in and tries to turn the fight.
That should help.
And this hero being dead is, it's like minus 300 GPM for the past 4 or 5 minutes. Because the hero farms so quickly, it wants to thrive on a lead, it wants to push lanes in, but when it's dead for so long, being such a high level at this point, it just alleviates like all the pressure and lets ehome get out on the map, which is not what the other team want.
LGD.Forever Young looked through to see if they could find a pick-off, but wasn't able to get it. They are going to try and move in towards Roche, but a long respawn timer is going to deny them any eyes on the Aegis. Monet is still farming, and will have his Abyssal Blade relatively soon, and it's worth noting for ehome, they still don't have a great answer for him when he's moving around the map farming incredibly quickly. I mean, it's all good in theory to think about a Ricky being able to drop a cloud onto him and such, but I still think that they're tanky enough on that AM that they can't kill him off yet.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It only happens when there's elongated team fights and he overstays.
It's 20 Bloodstone charges on the Storm Spirit now. You didn't believe. You did not look at the silver lining, Mr. PqMz.
Sorry, I have enough respect in these teams' ability to play Dota to not expect them to throw this hard. But for some reason, it always happens when I'm casting and I say they're not going to throw.
Super, meanwhile, is going to TP out of there. Does not want to get caught, but the mid lane is where action is happening. Yao taking some damage. Old Chicken in some trouble, and he's going to have to end up falling there at the end. He did not get the deny either. Anti-Mage finds that kill.
Back to normal amount. Where's your hope now, Lyrical Dota?
I believe in him. I believe in Harvey Dent. Looks like 12-22 is going to be the score. The net worth graph is pretty close to evened out after all of those shenanigans that happened along the top lane. And at the end of the day, all of the dives that were going on, it only amounted to a single melee barracks.
Yeah, ehome are definitely still in this. The biggest like net worth difference is still the supports and the offlaner, though. The cores are LFY still ahead.
Old Chicken, you got dismantled. They're going to go for the tricks of the trade, trying to keep this Ricky alive, but scattered to the winds because Sylar, well, he got the gust off, trying to turn this back around possibly. He's doing a decent amount of damage to Yao and Mjolnir on him, but I think that he's just gonzo regardless. Yeah, that's going to be a dead drow. On the other side, Old 11 can possibly go for a creep cut, which would be the best look as Anti-Mage also takes down the Ricky who
No, he has to
overextended.
steal this. He has to YOLO. This game is unsalvageable.
Gotta believe. They're actually not going for the Aegis. They just want to keep on
they
partying.
should
Dire's
have
middle
hit
tower
buildings.
is under attack.
That's definitely the better call, especially when Anti-Mage just picked up the BKB. They just need to remember that diving is bad, tower hitting is
Radiant
good.
structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's a simple mantra, just rinse and repeat it.
Dire's middle tower
Strike
is under
goes
attack.
through again. Yao lifted up, caught out a little bit out of position. BKB's been popped from Monet, and Old Chicken is going to walk away from there. They already used the Mana Void, did not kill off the Storm with that one. So they can go for round 2 in a second if they want to. Meanwhile, over there towards the PowerPoint Dota 2, we're literally getting like a frame per every, I don't know, not very often. And the lift back onto LPC. All right, Force Staff pushes him forward. The Rolling Boulder away. He's going to get that TP simultaneously. Nicely played there by LFY. Just take the tier 3 tower and back out.
Radiant's top barracks has
And it gives them an opening for Roche as well, because ehome are going to have to push out creep waves. If they want to take it, it's a slightly risky window, because it's definitely contestable. And ehome's fight around the pit is somewhat scary, with the Ricky and Doctor. If they sit on this high ground though, I really like this idea. Because it's natural that ehome are going to try and make some kind of contest.
Oh, smoke on smoke action. Do they know? Do they dare to?
They definitely know ehome are like around this area, they just want to take the best engagement possible.
Oh,
And
the
they've got
scan.
Shivas on Timber as well, so they're going to have so much vision.
Oh, there's the scan. There's the Old Chicken. He's taking a lot of damage. That's going to be a dead. Storm Spirit now looking for a little bit more. Sylar in a little bit of trouble as well. Old 11 getting chased by the AM, but not going to be able to get caught as they are still doing a decent chunk of damage. Yao goes through with the Timber Saw. A lot of damage being dealt out from that Chakram, and suddenly that is 3 gone. Ricky in a little bit of a
Radiant's
precarious spot
courier
as well.
has been
Guardian
killed.
is going to start to drop. They kill off the courier, but yeah, they weren't able to catch out the Ricky.
Ricky's small fry, he's not worth their time. Nor is the 5 Bloodstone Charge Storm anymore. They just, you know, the second they get creeps in this base, so I feel like a second set of racks is due to fall. I don't think Storm can do enough. Like, he's 800 gold away from a BKB, he can't really sell anything to get towards it.
This is starting to feel like pretty close to the end here, and Monet again taking
They'll
a
try one
series
more
for his
fight, I
team.
think.
They've been doing a great job of it so far. As well, they go forward. Shiva's Guardian trying to create a little bit of space for his team. The Old Chicken goes in on the back for Yao, and is going to be able to control him for the moment, but the Glimmer Cape keeping that Sand King alive. All right, here we go. Counter initiation, Burrow Strike, land him, taking damage. All right, he's gone. Super just explodes him. And now Old 11 also, they lift up the AM, but BKB pops her back around. The Mana Void is huge, and Monet is not going to stop there. Sylar is going to pop too. Good game gets called as LGD.Forever Young take game number 1.
And that's all on the back of their amazing early game. Whoever's idea it was to like rotate the Dazzle down and just basically camp that lane after the early victory they already got was what secured them kind of all the good things that led to the anti-mage getting such a big problem. And I do feel like ehome have to like change something up if they're going to go for this Drow lineup again, because their early game execution was pretty lackluster, and it looked like every mistake they made they just reeled from the entire game. They had their shining moments when LFY threw, but they were quickly put back in their place.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us. Sorry about the lag. Occasionally, I'll explain in between the break what is going on, because there's a bit